The new free program of Kamila Valieva based on the events of the 2022 Olympics caused a huge stir in society. The fact that the 16-year-old figure skater has to live her biggest sports tragedy on the ice again and again instills regret and bewilderment in the fans. How the coaching staff led by a Terry Tutberidge could allow the athlete to plunge into her injury again is perhaps the most pressing issue in figure skating. But is this program really detrimental to Kamila's psyche? Or does it, on the contrary, show the strength of the athlete and help her work through the traumatic experience? These and other questions were sorted out with sports psychologist Victoria Borzenkova. Victoria, what are your impressions of Kamila Valieva's free program? I like Kamila in general. This is a strong, extraordinary athlete. Impressions are always good. In fact, nothing has changed in the time that has passed since the previous season. It was nice to see her on the ice after all the blows of fate that she had to endure. She came out and showed herself. It's already nice. Kamila's program based on the Olympics caused a great resonance. Many people believe that living this nightmare over and over again is a disastrous strategy. Is it true? Or is it a form of therapy? In psychology, there are a lot of directions that help to live through various traumatic situations, including through art therapy. I don't know if this was the intention. Here it's better to ask Kamila and her coaches. It is also difficult to say how much this program can harm or help her. If a person has a serious traumatic situation, as a rule, it is very difficult for him sometimes even to talk about it. I think if Kamila wants to show this difficult story, a turning point in her fate, through body language, to share with the audience a part of her experiences, then why not? The headquarters of a Terry Tutberidge is generally sane, and, naturally, if Kamila still had this issue acutely experienced, then no one would force her to skate such a program and aggravate her condition. A really serious, uncovered psychological trauma would hardly allow, in principle, to skate such a program, repeatedly living through the negative. This is unnatural. The second point, people tend to dramatize, catastrophize and scale against the background of emotional experiences. Kamila is a strong athlete. Why don't we look at this story from the other side? Alternatively, through this image, she does not experience her trauma and tragedy, but perhaps shows her strength. What didn't kill us made us stronger. She was able to return after what happened, and thus proves to everyone that even this situation did not break her. She is still on the ice, she is still with us, continues her sports career. After the rental, Kamila burst into tears and for a long time could not stop the tears. Could this choice of program make things worse? We understand that this program was prepared in training. This was not its first rental. Probably, this in a certain way can immerse her in the events of the past. Another question is her current attitude towards it. It's very hard for me to judge. We often tend to make some kind of projection of our experiences, to interpret how we would feel in this case. But it's not a fact that Kamila feels the same way, because this is only her personal experience. Here, of course, it is difficult to give judgments. There are only hypotheses and assumptions. I tend to think from a positive point of view that she is a strong athlete who was able to overcome this difficult, crisis state, cope with it and show through the image that it no longer worries her and life goes on. And then, of course, everyone will interpret how it seems to him that she feels at that moment. But the fact that she came out and rolled, I think it's worth a lot. Previously, Kamila worked out the program at her rink, in a circle of close people. And now she spoke to an audience of millions, and after that she said that she felt like she was plunged into that situation again. Is it even worth working out such traumatic moments in front of the whole world? There are certain trigger situations that can raise a number of emotions, including traumatic ones. I don't know if this was taken into account when setting up the program. I can't answer what the staff was guided by when setting it up. That the idea is extraordinary is a fact. But, as they say, what comes from the heart, reaches the heart. Kamila shares her personal tragedy with the viewer. This characterizes her as a strong personality. She shows everyone that this is really meaningful and painful for her. How this directly affects her mental health, we do not know. we can only guess how she feels. Does it hurt her or, on the contrary, inspires more faith in herself? In the last interview that we did during the Olympics, you said that Kamila has a risk of getting emotionally stuck. The fact that she is now showing such a program and plans to skate it all season is a factor in her being emotionally stuck? I don't think. When a person is emotionally stuck in some kind of traumatic experience, as a rule, it is very difficult for him to move on. An anchor hangs in his soul and pulls him into repeatedly scrolling the events of the past, preventing the person from focusing on current tasks. I do not know the emotional state of Kamila today, but this can be found out in individual work with an athlete. I'm not going to make any diagnoses right now. If an athlete has moved on with his body, but is emotionally stuck, constantly replays a traumatic experience, then help is probably needed here to be able to complete this story. I suppose since Kamila comes out and rolls this program, and quite emotionally, it means that she lived this story and, in general, can work with it. Because, I repeat, when the experience remains very traumatic, then in therapy a person sometimes cannot even talk about it, let alone roll it to a wide audience. It covers him very much. We allow the moment that when a traumatic experience is repeatedly lived, desensitization occurs, a person gradually survives this emotion, completes it and reaches a new level. Maybe the same is happening with Kamila. It is also possible that she is living this story in terms of I was able to do it, I went out and shared this pain, I am strong and I continue to ride no matter what. I'm more inclined towards the second version. With all this, this program also has a competitive function. And in Kamila's case, she demands an ultra-C jump. Is it even possible to collect strong emotions and complex content in one rental? Since they staged this program, presented it to the general court, I think that this is possible. If it were impossible to combine artistic and technical components, we would hardly see this program today. And if Kamila can put it all together, then it really will be such a small life story with great meaning for Kamila. Kamila's case is not over yet, she continues to live in uncertainty about her career. How to motivate yourself in such a situation? How do you go further, set goals if you don't know what will happen tomorrow? Globally, now all athletes are in a state of ignorance. For everyone, the situation of suspension suggests a certain anxiety about how to continue a career, how to find anchor points. The simplest thing that can be advised, firstly, continue to do what you love. Still, we are in sports not only for the sake of achievements, but also for the sake of getting certain emotions, for self-actualization and self-development. Secondly, do not set long-term goals yet. Set goals that are realistic and achievable so that the structure of motivation is maintained, because the goal determines motivation. Now, when working with athletes, it is necessary to set goals very clearly in the new sports realities. Thirdly, if we cannot change the situation, then we need to learn to change our attitude towards it. We must simply accept the situation of today, not be nervous and work with what we have. There are two options, either finish or continue, making certain adjustments. Life goes on, no matter what, both for Kamila and for all athletes who are now deprived of the opportunity to compete in international competitions.